Welcome to Kaiseki Anime, where we air new episodes every other week. Kaiseki covers currently airing anime, older series and recently, and other relevant topics for the season. I am your host Marina of the blog Anime B&B, and with me is my co-host Draggle of the cleverly titled Draggle's Anime Blog.
This week, we'll discuss Akane-banashi. We're excited to have a guest host join us, Ren, formerly known as FoxyLadyAyame.
Thank you for having me, Draggle and Marina. Long time no here. Looking forward to chatting about anime with you again.
This week, we're discussing Akane-banashi. It's a show about Rakugo. The girl, her father, is going to be a Rakugo performer, and in the first episode, he is kicked out and banished by this asshole. And then she wants to avenge her father and learn Rakugo, and this is her story.
This is a 12-episode TV series. It is, at the time of this recording, complete, so you can binge watch it now. There is already a sequel that's been announced for winter of 2027, so that's when you can hop back in if you decide you want to continue. This does have a manga that is currently ongoing as well.
And it's very shonen. It feels like it could go on forever.
If it goes well. Although I think the more recent shonen titles tend to be a little bit on the shorter side. Like if you notice about things like Hell's Paradise and Jujutsu Kaisen, they tend to be shorter than like the big three.
Yeah.
Right. Like I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen is perhaps leaning in the older style to going longer, but it's doesn't seem as noticeable because we have all these seasons of breaks in between. It's not like non-stop like the originals. And then, yeah, like shows like Hell's Paradise, there's only like 2 seasons right now?
Yeah. Or like Attack on Titan, only 3 seasons, but it includes season 3, part 2, final part or whatever.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Is it because of the studio, which has done like Studio Zesix, which has Shadowverse Flame?
Oh, I think it's because, for me at least, it's because there's tournaments. If there's tournaments, it's shonen, right? And there it keeps being new characters. There's the training arc, right? She does some different training and learns things. She has the older students she learns from. The old rivals become your friends, right?
Yeah.
It's basically a battle anime, but with Rakugo. Yeah.
But I think that they've done great work because it sort of gets out of the usual shonen stereotypes, and by that I mean that have you watched and read the different versions of Bartender?
Like live action and anime.
Yes. So the live action feels really shonen compared to the manga and the anime, if you remember. Akane-banashi, it's not too hyperbolic when it comes to the competition parts, and there are a lot of places where the character development, the emotional moments take a lot of the stage, pun intended. It really feels a lot like Chihaya Furu. How do you think about that?
Yeah, I would say that's true. It's definitely much more subdued in the tournaments than some other shows. I did really enjoy the tournament arc and how it really focused on those 2 side characters. It made them really interesting. The voice actor girl and the Todai club guy.
Right. And this, we're talking about like the Karaku Cup. This is the part I think that Ren hasn't seen yet, right?
Oh.
Yeah. I'm still a little bit behind, but it's okay.
Well, you'll enjoy this upcoming tournament.
Oh, yeah. I hope so. I think that it's gonna play out really nicely. Like so far, halfway through, it has shown really nice flow, the show in general.
Yeah, I guess I wanted to ask you too, based off of what I've read elsewhere. Okay, so I'm not as active anymore or at all on places like the anime discords or on Anime Blue Sky or Twitter or anything like that. But I have been trying to return to some of the old forums and just like reading people's reactions to currently airing shows like this one. And I'm just curious, like, what you two felt about the shonen take on this, which I don't know if that's true to the manga or not. But like, do you like having something like traditional Rakugo blended with more of a shonen style narration?
I would say for me, I'm not a big fan of shonen, as you know, like the shonen battle type things. So I really loved the first episode with her father and all the trauma and crying. I love
Yeah,
crying.
you love drama.
Yeah. But then once it switched to Akane, I was a lot less interested. I do think it still did a really good job. Especially, like, I always complain to you, Rena, about tournament arcs.
Yeah.
This was a good tournament arc, even I have to admit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the part that I was sort of getting at earlier, that even though shonen tend to be kinda, well, from contriving to annoying when it comes to certain, depictions of competitive behavior, I guess, this one just is more round. It has more emotional body, I think, and it's not too exaggerated. And that's like what struck me as exceptional, that it resembled Chihaya Furu, which is a josei
Yes.
manga and anime. So I think at this point it's just a demographic tag. I'm just really happy that we actually have it in Shonen Jump, which is such a huge manga magazine.
Yes.
And it's amazing how it does so well when it has a female protagonist, actually.
Yeah, it's good that you bring up Chihaya Furu and note that it's a josei and compare the two because they are pretty similar, I would say. And so it is interesting that they are geared towards these different demographics. I guess the question is why did Akane-banashi get put into Shonen Jump as opposed to one of the I'm guilty. I don't know what the josei publications are called, but where did that decision come from?
To be honest, I don't have insight into.
I'm just wondering, is there like something that is very explicitly like obvious why this is more shonen than a josei?
Yeah, I have no clue. Like, if you look at what the mangaka has done before, he hadn't really written a lot before.
No.
I can see a one shot that I wouldn't even count it too much. And then I see 2 series in 2016, 2017. I don't know if it was just that they were already collaborating with that particular mangaka, and so that their collaboration basically continued into this more different foray or something.
Yeah, I didn't consider that. Like, if they have a history of doing shonen, that might be why. They would just assume, oh, this is obviously more for this audience.
I think part of it also is, remember in Chihaya Furu, a large part of it was the love triangle with Arata and Taichi.
Oh, right, yeah.
I don't know how you forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
My Kansai Ben boyfriend.
Forgot about him. Oh.
Yeah, this one, Akane's only boyfriend is going to be Rakugo, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I completely blipped the romance in Chihaya Furu.
That's the only part I remember.
Though I have to mention that if we skip those parts, especially at the beginning with their romance, I think for the biggest part, it was like Chihaya Furu was very much like the main protagonist was also obsessed with the hobby mainly. And then we sort of, Yuri fangirls, we were basically rooting for her with her antagonist, her female antagonist.
For sure.
I forgot about her too.
The Ice Queen. Yeah.
They become the ultimate rivals. I don't really know if we have a proper rival in Akane-banashi, if it will be that other pupil to Isho, the guy she wants revenge on. Like, she's not a proper rival yet because they're not at the same level yet, right? And we have like some possible rivals in the Karaku Cup, but in the end, it's proven that they're not really rivals. So, yeah, that's up for the future seasons, I think.
So what do you all think of Akane's character?
She's very fresh. She's not too Genki and not too... Obviously, she really, really loves Rakugo and she spends a lot of time practicing. But still, she isn't depicted in a too nerdy way, if you understand what I'm saying.
She's pretty cool. I mean, look at her character design and like the hairstyle, and she doesn't seem to be like treated as like an other by her classmates, right? She seems like pretty average, cool girl.
Yeah.
She's good at the social skills. Remember what like her teacher mentioned?
She's likable.
Yes. Which I guess should be included in the whole Rakugoka part, I guess. So
yeah, it's pretty much their job.
You have to be likable if you want to perform.
That's an interesting point, because that's where you have like the comparison of the Shuninen. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but like the masters, right? Like, why is her master so popular and beloved? Like, you see him, there's like segments where he's walking around the town and like the shop owners love him and his pupils love him. He's beloved. And then you have the opposite, the guy who essentially ruined her father's career, right? And like a bunch of other people from that school, based off of his gatekeeping. And he's sort of not beloved. He's feared and is put up on this pedestal as like, you need to get his approval, right? And he's not likable. So it's an interesting comparison for like, what is a successful Rakugoka?
He can fake being likable there for like 20 minutes while he does his performance.
On the TV, right? Because he's supposed to be evaluating these high school students or young Rakugoka. He can pretend to be nice.
Right. He's an actor. And I think in real life, my impression is actors can be like that too.
Oh.
Like girl actors. My unpopular opinion is that I think Akane is very boring.
No, I don't think that's unpopular at all, Drago. No.
Really?
No, I don't.
Oh.
Oh,
okay. I feel like the only thing to her character is Rakugo. There's like nothing else. She has this backstory about her father, but the Rakugo, I think, is more important than her father's trauma to her.
Yeah, you think so?
And she's just very, how do I say? She, not much self-reflection, very straightforward. Does she like even have any friends? I feel like we don't know much about her. The guy at the school.
She hangs out with those girls as well. It's just that we don't really, I guess, focus too much on that aspect.
Yeah, and that might be part of it. Like the only thing the show maybe focuses our attention on is the Rakugo.
She has that childhood friend who's a guy who's the one that encourages the teacher, the school teacher, who like trying to dissuade her from having Rakugo.
Right.
Jumbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Ren noted there are the girlfriends that we see her hanging out with and chatting with. But like you mentioned, like there really is no focus on like why are they friends, right? And like how do they interact with each other really outside of Rakugo?
That said, like they could have omitted altogether her studies and how she behaves as a normal student, but they did include that, even if it's a little part I don't know if it's even shown again at the later point in the show.
Right. Well, because at the end of this, she's actually done with high school, isn't she? So I don't know if we're going to see any of that anymore after in the subsequent seasons.
Yeah, and she doesn't go to uni, does she?
I'm assuming no, because her plan is to become a Zenza. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
That's why her teacher got mad at her because she wasn't going to go to uni.
It's like not even a backup plan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to follow up on this like likability or how I feel about her character. Yeah, I think she's likable. I think she's fun, but that's also because I think it's really cool to see someone who throws themselves so wholeheartedly into their hobby or their obsession, whatever you want to call it. I think it's cool to be passionate about
Yeah.
one thing. So I really like that.
And I didn't say I don't like her. I just said she's boring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we're talking about as a character and like complexity and depth, she does seem one note. Very predictable and how she's going to react to things. Very predictable and how whatever trials she goes through in this show, like none of it surprises me. I expect her to overcome them. I expect her to take the lessons that they're trying to convey to her and, use it to her advantage. There's a scene where she is sort of taught to observe her surroundings better, right? When she is told to work at a restaurant.
Yes.
That was kind of nice to see her kind of flounder for a bit there, but never did I think that she was going to fail, right? Like I knew she was going to learn the lesson.
Obviously, otherwise we wouldn't have the rest of the manga and anime. But
So like that's kind of the boring part, I guess, is that I always know that she's going to succeed. And even with like the cup itself, I mean, we can all pretty much predict the ending, whether or not you have finished the show based on like she's has professional training. She's going against people who don't. And I know that there are some viewers who don't think very highly of her as a character.
why?
Just because they think she's boring. Like for them, the vehicle of like something as Rakugo that is supposed to be about telling stories and about like putting yourself into the flesh of this story and sharing it with people. I think they want someone who is more nuanced, someone who has more interesting backstory, and people like to compare this to what is the one other Rakugo show that we've had recently.
Oh, we have 3 other Rakugo shows.
We do.
Yes, we do. The first ever was Joshiraku, 2012. That one, it was for me like it was basically based on the cute girls doing cute things. I think it had a bit of slapstick comedy, which isn't up my alley, so I dropped it.
Yeah. I watched that one.
Yeah.
It wasn't that good. Yeah.
Okay. So it's not just me. Then we had in 2022 My Master Has No Tail, which involved Tanuki.
Oh.
That's where the My Master Has No Tail part refers to, because they transform into women, like human women.
I dropped it. I looked it up really quick because I was like, why don't I remember this? And it's because I
I remember the
liked
first
it.
episode.
I liked it, but obviously not as much as Sowa Genroku Rakugo Shinju in 2016-17. It had 2 cour, and it was based on the very well-known by now, I guess, manga by Haruko Kumota. For whoever doesn't know the name already, she's very well known for her BLs, boys loves, yaois, and all that stuff.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm not very fond of her BLs, to be honest. Usually there are things that just set me off, but Rakugo Shinju was a great drama.
Yeah, that is the one that kept being put up as an example, and like they were challenging other people on the thread because it was in a forum. Like, can you even name another Rakugo anime? And like, you have a way better memory, Ren. Good job, because nobody could. This is the only one that people remembered or thought was anything of note, right? They're like, not only is this something worth remembering, but this is like a really good story. And they compare like the characters of Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju to, Akane and those characters. And they're like, well, one is coming up short, which one? Obviously, it's Akane. It's like they don't really like the main character compared to the complexity in Showa Genri.
Yeah, but I think that's very unfair, to be fair. Okay, they're both under the tag drama, but not really. It's just, again, this Rakugo Shinju is Josei, and Akane-banashi is shonen. And then the one is, like Rakugo Shinju is mainly human drama with a bit of Rakugo. All right. And then we have Akane-banashi, which is mainly Rakugo with a bit of drama.
I do think it was a problem of expectation, right, of the audience. If you're having those expectations on it, then don't be surprised that they, don't pan out, right?
Yeah, I think if I was expecting Naruto, I would have enjoyed this a lot more.
Like, not only was there that comparison, an unfair comparison, there was also the expectation, because this is Rakugo, right, that they wanted more experienced Rakugo voice actresses. And so, and again, they were using the other show as a comparison. They're like, look at the actors that were in that versus the actors that are in Akane, and being particularly disappointed in the voice actress that was chosen for Akane, thinking that, she was coming up short and that her performances in the anime were not particularly impressive.
Okay.
Really? These are like people who speak English on the forum saying this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, are we talking about the dub, or like the English dub, or the original Japanese?
The Japanese. So like Nagase Anna.
I'm just shocked they can even evaluate that.
Yeah, this is like one big thing that I always have issues with. If we just take this out of Rakugo and we just talk about actors, right?
Mm-hmm.
People toss around phrases like, this one or the other one is a good actor, right? Generally, I remember it ever since I was in school, like putting a label as good over somebody says nothing, because there's no common agreement on what is good, right? Obviously, there are some extreme cases where there is just a consensus of how deeply the performance of a single person can affect everyone almost emotionally. So that could be a measure. I'm not too much into voice actors, so I wouldn't know too much about that particular issue, but I found it very interesting how, concerning that part where, like, how do I judge what I see as the character evolving or the character honing their skills, right? We can see that in other similar art anime, like the one with the koto, or the other one with the shamisen, or things like that. Because someone who's not in the field cannot really understand the difference, yeah? But in Akane-banashi, I really liked that part with the restaurant. We actually are being explained how she improved, what she lacked, and what she added later on. So it's more easy to receive as an information.
I agree. And that's why I had used that scene as an example, because that was also used by critics as being like, look, they can show her weaknesses. They can show some growth. They wanted more of that. And they just, maybe they're just more experienced Rakugo listeners. I don't know, to where they can complain about why didn't they use Rakugo people.
Yeah.
The normal anime viewer isn't going to notice, right? We didn't notice.
Why? I don't know. Would a Japanese person know? I certainly don't know.
They've already talked about how, and this is like brought up in multiple Rakugo. I think the previous Rakugo showed this one too. Anything that uses like older arts, about like how it's dying and the younger generation doesn't appreciate it anymore, right? And it's even brought up in this show. That's why one of the guys in the Karaku Cup likes to modernize the older stories, because he's like, oh, the young people don't appreciate, right? They don't understand.
Yeah, I have to agree with the young people. I've watched three Rakugo shows.
You have.
Yeah, I watched Joshi Raku, Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju, and this one.
I didn't realize. I thought you meant you had seen like
No.
Rakugo when you were in Japan.
No, I haven't seen actual Rakugo.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure I would not get it. I don't understand anything about Rakugo, even after watching 3 anime. Do you?
Kinda. So, like, I've watched 2 Rakugo shows, just not in Japanese. When I was in Sydney, there was a time that Japan Foundation had brought over a Japanese Rakugo artist.
That's so cool.
And of course, yeah, it was really nice. The perks of living near Japan, even if it was just for a bit, relatively, I guess. Now that I'm thinking about it, probably Alaska is closer to Japan. But okay.
That's a good question. But you got to see it firsthand.
Yeah, she performed in English, obviously, for us to understand her. And I've also watched a lot of Katsura Sunshine, who is a foreigner, a blonde, a bit plump, middle-aged man who is living now in Japan as well, I think. Also Rakugo in English. So obviously he has adapted the humor in modern, it's not aesthetics, how do we call that? You know what I mean?
No, I don't know. You said not in modern aesthetics.
So
but...
every culture, every epoch, every...
Is he like localizing the story?
Kinda, not really. Japanese people have a different sense of humor. And different eras have different sense of humor.
Yes.
Obviously. So I think that modern Rakugo artists mainly do the opposite of stand-up comedy. They do sit-down comedy. I guess that some of them that are like Japanese, they might reinterpret older stories, so they're closer to the authentic thing. But yeah, it's gonna be hit or miss because, as I said, it's a cultural product of different eras. People in Japan laugh with totally different things than people in the West. I remember watching a YouTube channel with a Greek stand-up comedian and a Japanese YouTuber who currently resides in Greece. And they were talking about comedy and what won lately in Japan, like a huge prize. And she was describing the joke and I was like, there's no punchline. Like, why is this funny? And like the Greek comedian had the same reaction. So yes and no. Obviously people don't laugh with the same things, but a lot of the stories, as the anime says, can be quite, through the ages because they are about simple people.
Yes, this is actually brought up in in the Karaka Cup tournament, because one of the characters that we had mentioned, he modernizes pieces for his audience, for himself and for the audience. And the reactions to that's actually connected pretty well with what we were talking about. But you haven't seen it yet, so.
It's okay.
All the kids think he's really funny, but the old people don't get it.
I think they get it. I think because like that's where you have Isho, right? The intimidating Isho gives his feedback. I think he was very fair in his feedback. And you're right that it's who is this for? And that was like one of my topics that I wanted to ask, who is Rakugo for? And we see that displayed differently by the different characters in this show. I don't know how you guys feel about it. If you want it to be truer to the original, if you like it when they make like modern tweaks to it, or even try to like localize it so that whoever the audience is, if it's like a different country, that we can understand the intended takeaway better than if it was done its original form.
I think I'm like the young people that old dude hates, where I just think Rakugo is not for me.
That's fair.
I don't get it.
I think there is value to both. it's interesting to study like the old stuff, because then you understand a different era and a different culture. But then it sort of stops being comedy for like me personally, for the most part, okay? By the way, fun fact, because I'm also studying Japanese, I'm on my second year, and like a few months ago, we had a rakugo text as a reading text. So whoever wants to practice their Japanese in early levels, rakugo text can be quite easy, apparently. I haven't read a lot, but like our teacher recommended us. And fun fact, there is a manga that has chosen 8 rakugo texts, and it was published by Jordan Quarterly. I was very disappointed to find out that it's run out of print.
Oh.
I guess it had a limited print, but you can find it kinda. It's been translated in English as well, so if somebody doesn't know, they can have access to these texts just in English. But yeah, I think I'm gonna try to dig it out somewhere in Japanese. I'll find it. I hope so.
But you can still see rakugo in the different styles still having their place. Like you can still appreciate the more original form.
Yeah. And talking about like modernization of it, I think that's where it really shines, because if rakugo is a comedic art, then it has to make you laugh, right? That's where that episode where Akane learns to adapt to her audience is so crucial. So yeah, there's no comedian if the audience doesn't laugh, is there?
Well, it doesn't. That's I guess, another question. Is it supposed to be comedy? Because I don't think it is. Like some of the stories I think are intended to be a comedy. Some of the others, most definitely not. Like Jigemu, I guess there's the original ending, which is more of a tragedy. And then there's the other version, which softens it up and gives it a happy ending.
Can you remind me what this was about?
Jigemu is the one that's like one of the most popular ones. And if you're a Western artist or if a Western like viewer, that's probably the one that you're familiar with. It's the one with the boy who's given the super, super long name by his parents.
Oh, this one. Okay.
I thought that was supposed to be funny there. Like every time
They do a whole discussion about it and wondering which way she's going to do it when she performs. Because the original ending, he dies. He drowns.
Okay, but it's still funny though, right?
Draco's not so...
I think that's black humor.
Yeah.
It's not my type of humor, but probably it it turns from comedic to satiric. Am I saying it correctly?
Oh, satirical.
Satirical, yeah, right, sorry. So it sort of makes fun of people over-focusing on a particular name to the extent of non-practicality. And what's more impractical than having somebody die, you know? Because you weren't able to make it in time to say their whole name.
Yeah, I mean, that is a takeaway. And I guess the question is that the intended takeaway by that original ending? Or does it have a more tragic kind of tone for if the storyteller chooses to use that kind of tone? But then there's like the switch up where they change the ending where they do save him, or there's a slightly different take in Akane's version, but it's where he's alive at the end, right? And then is it a comedy? Is it just like a happy ending? I don't know. It's up to, I guess, the storyteller and then how the audience chooses to take it.
No, but I think that one's a comedy when they say his really long name.
Okay.
Like regardless of the ending.
I think that by your definition, British black humor would never be humor. You know?
Yeah.
Again, it's not my type of thing, but you understand what I'm implying.
Yeah, I am. And like maybe Jigama is not a good example of that. I am not a Rakugo listener. I'm not familiar with it whatsoever. So I can't come up with a better example of ones that are a more serious story, ones with different lessons to take that are not intended for you to laugh, but I'm like almost 100% certain they exist.
I guess I haven't come across so many stories, or like I haven't really put the effort yet to study them all or something. So yeah, I can't say much for now.
I guess I feel that way because the judge, Isho, I think he kind of like alludes to that when he's giving his feedback and he's talking to the guy who makes everyone laugh. That he like
Oh.
hints that that's like there's different styles to Rakugo, and that is one style that's that guy's style, obviously.
Fun fact, especially since we're talking about Jugemu, all right, just popping out Wikipedia, it states the following. Jugemu is performed not only in Rakugo theaters, but also to other audiences and on mass media, especially for children.
Yeah.
So it's just like we are totally different when it comes to certain aspects of raising children and understanding different things. It sort of reminds me on Western reactions to Spirited Away. Like for many of us, I think it was really scary, but probably not that much of a deal for like Japanese kids. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I look at the original fairy tales, like the Grimm's fairy tales. Like we've cleaned them up for like Disney, but a lot of those stories are pretty grim, right? Sorry to make a pun.
I think that's a bit different.
I mean,
I think.
even the Disney, we have Bambi and stuff. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah. My poor little fawn.
I mean, certainly I think there are different cultures that they have more of them, right? More of the lesson that you're supposed to take that ends very badly for the bad children, right? Or, or the silly parents who give their kids really long, impractical names.
Yeah. I noticed that director on this one was Ayumu Watanabe. The same guy who's a little bit behind Witch Hat Atelier and Children of the Sea.
Yeah, just gorgeous.
He made this and Witch Hat Atelier in the same season.
That's why there's a little bit of contention here on like thinking that he put. Well, I'm curious what Ren has to say about the director.
I have a lot of appreciation on what he's worked on and how faithfully he's transferred stuff so far, like from what I've seen, right? And also I see like the other one that I recognize is After the Rain, which was also a little bit of a difficult topic, like sort of sensitive. You remember it was that anime with the May-December potential romance, and somehow anime for once didn't screw this up. Like the adult actually rejects the teenager, you know.
It was heavy material, but it was also a really pretty show, I remember.
Yeah, it was very sensitively handled, so I trust this director with what he does. So far I haven't been disappointed by him.
Yeah, some of the titles are Witch Hat Atelier, which is a currently running series as well. Gangline, You and Miss Servant, Summertime Rendering, Call Me Can't Communicate, Major, Children of the Sea, Ace Attorney, After the Rain. And these all have their pretty devout audiences, right?
I was very disappointed by Major, but it's not his fault.
Don't like any sports, so don't comment on something that you would never watch, no matter who directed it.
Yeah, it's not his fault. He didn't invent baseball.
I like Major, even though I think it's dragging on now.
I have no clue, to be honest.
Okay.
I am with Drago on the sport thing. Like I barely
Yes,
watch
my
sports
people.
things.
Team up on me. This is what it feels like.
Especially baseball, the worst sport.
It's amazing in Japan. Anyways, I saw some additional criticism about this being a show directed by Ayumu Watanabe, being that they expected more or better of this being directed by him. Like they thought there would be more pushing, I guess, boundaries, or more like breathtaking visuals or
Dude was directing Witch Hat Atelier at the same time. Give him a break.
putting too much of himself into that as opposed to this.
He shouldn't
Could
have even
be.
done two at the same time anyway.
I mean, it sounds pretty daunting just to do one, much less two.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Again, though, it feels a lot like apples and oranges, though, right? Because, first of all, being a director doesn't always include things related to storyboarding, right? It can be just the one overseeing the others doing the storyboards. Ayumu Watanabe, like from the ones I mentioned, because I can't really talk about the others, right?
Right.
I feel like he's consistently choosing works. I think that's how it goes. I'm not sure if like the project comes to him, although I feel it could be either way. Like if you've shown that you're good in bringing out the like certain qualities of works that have deeper themes or like you know how to stay true to the essence of each work, then I think he's doing that already well enough. I mean, okay, I haven't read the manga, so I can't be a good judge of that. But with the other Children of the Sea, although it wasn't one by one, obviously, because the one is like 5 volumes of manga and a film, obviously had to choose parts, right? He did the best he could. And like Witch Hat Atelier is very well known for its very artistic style, right? Akane-banashi, I don't think it ever was about that.
No, I don't see that being the major draw to the show.
At the same time, I feel like people, without understanding that themselves, probably, visuals influence one's opinion of how good of an adaptation something is. I might be wrong, obviously.
No, I think that's like what they see, right? And they make those assumptions.
Yes.
Yeah. Those are not my views. Like, I don't expect stellar, gorgeous visuals out of Akane-banashi, right? That's not what I'm there for. I appreciate that it looks slick, right? That it looks, vibrant. Animation seems decent. I didn't notice anything that was terrible. Did you guys?
No.
Looks good to me.
Yeah. So I'm satisfied. I just thought it was interesting that there were some people who were disappointed and thought there would be more risks taken, I guess, with, if not visuals, then with the storytelling or, how they chose to display some of the Rakugo scenes, I guess.
Some people are wrong about everything. Sometimes I'm wrong too. It's okay. But I'm not wrong about sports.
Talking about themes, Marina, you put down as a point of discussion Akane as a role model for chasing dreams.
That was part of like her disagreement, like with her teacher, right? We talked about how the teacher didn't want her to put that as a career, but then once she went and saw her perform live, her opinion was changed because she saw not only how gifted Akane was, but also how driven and how dedicated, like she put time into it, and that this dream wasn't just a dream, but an actual possibility. It's just interesting too, because I don't really want to spoil the ending, which I do think would be spoiling it a little bit, with Akane's feelings about having like a stage name. Because once you become an official apprentice, you're supposed to get your name given to you by your teacher.
Yes.
Yeah, her reaction to that, I think, says a little bit about who she is as a character and how it's not necessarily... I think we talked about how she's not like some of the other Rakugo who are like idols, right? Like super popular. Like that's not what it's about for her to perform Rakugo. I think at the start, she loved Rakugo for the art itself because of her dad and because of the storytelling aspect. And then it became like a mission of revenge and how driven she was to confront Isho and prove him wrong. But it was never about herself and how popular she would be with her audience.
No, I think it feels a lot like, honestly, she just gets self-fulfillment through Rakugo. she finds this particular type of communication very satisfying. And to be honest, like, okay, the first few episodes give you the impression of, oh, this is going to be a revenge story. But halfway through the story, the series, at least this particular core, I didn't feel it was a revenge story. It's more, I want to prove you are wrong, but I wouldn't even say that as a revenge. Like when someone says revenge, that's a bit of a heavy word, you know? My mind travels to Count of Monte Cristo and not to what's happening in this anime.
That's drastic, but yeah. That kind of ties into, whose point is this, Drago? Or who made the comment the first episode was so great and the rest seems like a step back?
That was me.
Right. So does that have to do a little bit with this? Because like the start is extremely dramatic, right? When we see her growing up, her father, her love for her father, and then her father gets squashed.
I think it's more just what I personally like.
Okay.
I love suffering. The more suffering, the more entertained I am.
Okay. So you would have wanted more of that? Or?
Yeah, Akane is too happy.
Oh.
She needs
I think
suffering.
if you haven't watched Aaron the South Pole, probably you're gonna love this series.
I have watched a few, but I'm very behind on that show.
I watched that particular series because it feels too close to real life, and that bloody hurts.
That show gives me the impression, on the opposite spectrum of this one, of here are your dreams, and let me just crush them in front of you.
Wait, which show are we talking about?
Southpaw or Aaron?
Oh, yeah. I've been enjoying that one.
I know you have.
See, I knew that. And
Yeah,
there was a particular
you get me.
episode where, like, I really thought, oh my gosh, now this one episode, it almost turned into a soap opera.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can kind of get that from what I've seen so far.
Is this the episode where the guy got shot?
What?
Yes.
Guys, don't spoil anything anymore for me.
I'm sorry.
It was so ridiculous, though.
What?
It's nobody important.
Well, no one is getting shot in Akane-banashi.
And that's the problem.
Hardly, yeah. There's not much real drama, I would say, in this show after that, like, opening episode.
Yes.
There's a little bit in the tournament. Like, that one guy is now like, I hate you. Now I've realized who my true enemy is. But it was pretty funny.
But you liked the tournament, Drago.
I did like the tournament. I'm ashamed to admit.
Talking about tournaments, it's probably similar to the feeling someone gets when they were watching Hibike Euphonium, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Although
But they
probably it was more
lost
intense.
in the first one, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's why it was good.
Oh. There was so much heartbreak. How can you say that to the seniors who would never get their chance again?
That's what makes it even better.
Wow.
I'm not that much of a Schadenfreude sort of person, but I do appreciate when stories not always sugarcoat things. Like, failure is part of life.
Yeah.
What about the rest of us who are not talents, you know?
Exactly. My band also lost the tournament when I was in high school,
Yeah.
and I didn't really care. But
You should have cared. You should have cried.
some of my classmates did cry, and I laughed at them.
So how would you have felt if this tournament had a bad ending, right? If she utterly failed in her aspirations, would that have been better for you?
Yeah, I would have liked that.
Well, we're going to get a second season, so maybe there will still be possibility for failures ahead.
Yes, I hope there will be failures.
I think it's nice to have a good measure of both, because otherwise it just feels too much like a fairy tale, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't like when it's also too dramatic. Like, obviously, if bad things happen, it's not de facto a bad thing. Like, I can appreciate certain things, as I said before. It's just the execution. If it's hyperbolic, then it starts turning me off.
Yeah.
Yeah. the guy getting shot might have been a bit much, but
Or if it's just like one after the other, which is possible. I mean, that is realistic for some people, right? Where it's just one frustration, failure again and again. But as a audience member, I think that can be very wearing, tiring to watch or read. So I do prefer balance.
Yeah, it depends on why you're watching something, actually.
Yeah.
If you watch something just to escape reality, obviously you're not just gonna watch something dramatic. You're just gonna pick a slice of life thingy and something that you don't need to turn your brain on too much. But if you need something to relate to or to use as a mirror to process your own situation and feelings, it's gonna be tough, it's gonna be difficult, but it's also gonna work as catharsis, right? It's not something too big of a thing, but for somebody who is interested in Japanese culture in general, having that post-credit scene where Rakugo is actually explained, or you get behind the scenes when it comes to how seniorship goes in Rakugo artists, or how body language is basically a set framework so that the viewers also know how to read it as a visual text. These are like really interesting stuff, at least to me. I don't know if they interest you at all.
I enjoyed it. I definitely, because I'm one of those people, I do skip the opening and endings after I've seen it maybe once or twice. And so I always made sure to at least skip the ending, but to stop and watch that post-credit scene. What about you, Draggle? Did you watch them?
I skipped it. I'm sorry.
You didn't watch any of them?
I don't think so.
They're so short. They just like give you little lessons on Rakugo.
I don't think I even knew they were there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oops.
You should know better with anything Japanese related. Most of the times there is a post-credit scene. It was even before Marvel. Like, Japanese people created it, probably.
There is, but I just skip it. I don't care.
Plus, I always look before I exit. I look at how much is left at the end. And I'm like, does that look like it's more than an ending credits? And typically, if it looks even a little longer, I will always fast forward and make sure that I don't miss whatever's at the end. Because sometimes, in this case, it's more like cultural facts and explanations about the art of Rakugo. But other times, it can be like leading into the next episode, right? Like a very vital scene that you cannot miss.
Some of them, they have like the ending song, then they have a little scene, then they have a second ending credits now.
Yeah.
The second credit stuff is, I think, just the Netflix black screen, white letter stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You still got to risk it. You got to go and check it and make sure.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Tune in again to Kaiseki podcast 2 weeks from now. Please feel free to send questions or comments on Blue Sky with hashtag Kaiseki podcast on our individual accounts at Draggle and at MarinaBNB.
Thank you for joining us, Ren.
My pleasure. Yoroshiku. You can find me at my blog, bringthetea.wordpress.com. I'll be back with a post soon, hopefully.
Listen to and review us on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts so we can continue to grow and improve. Thanks for listening. See you next time.